Darth Vader.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Guns and Yellow Ribbons Live. I am Fergus. I am your host. Oh, I don't know if I've got it. I don't know if I haven't, but I have felt pretty crook. In my absence on Wednesday, my good friend and colleague, Mike, covered for me. And Mike, I have to say, you've done a sterling job. Love the new studio office. It looks really, really smart. But that aside, I thought what you did with Claude, with Potsy, and Jesus, help me, my brain's not. Richard. Was a fantastic evening. Did you enjoy it?
I did, Lord Vader. I did. It was all right.
Lord Vader. Potsy, how you keeping, mate?
Yeah, I'm a lot more feeling a lot fitter than you, mate, by the sounds of it. You still don't sound 100%, mate, and you looked awful last time I spoke to you at the whilst I saw you at West Ham, and I said to you, you're definitely coming down with something. So I reckon, personally, you've had it, mate. That's what I think. You have had the COVID-19.
Well, where could I have caught it then if I did have COVID-19? I'm just trying to track my my steps back. That was Saturday, the 4th or 5th of May, wasn't it? No, the 7th of May, was it?
I don't even know.
March, 7th
yeah.
of March, yeah. That Thursday night, I happened to be probably where some Greek guy may have been a couple of days before.
That's what I mean.
I was in the Arsenal boardroom, so
well, trying to give it to all you lot.
Yeah, I don't
That's
know.
why I reckon you've had it, mate. That's why I reckon you've had it. It was only your brother Rory, wasn't it? Who jogged your memory. You text me like, "Yeah, Potsy, guess where I was?" I was like, "Oh no!" Yeah. So I reckon you've had it, mate.
Yeah, and you're
still going.
You rang me as well. So yeah, but listen, Mikhail has got it. He's called it off the Greek chap. What did we think of Mikhail getting the virus? Listen, we're not going to do this. Is only going to be a half hour or so chat because we've got no Arsenal. We've got not a lot to talk about. It was more about Christ. There's been so many memes and jokes going on about the minute about people talking about I've been married to my wife for years, didn't realize she liked yellow. And my wife just recently got made redundant from Woolworths and stuff like that. There's some of the memes and some of the things have been absolutely classic. It's been hilarious. But what do we make of Arteta and him getting the virus?
I think it's bizarre that it's actually him who's got it. So it must have been somebody that he has come into contact with as opposed to the squad or the rest of the team, coaching staff, whatever it be. Because for him to actually get it is quite sort of it's amazing, really, isn't it, to have the one person that gets it the whole club happens to be our head coach. But apparently he's better already. His wife has said that it's not so bad. After 2 days he was, yep, I'm okay now. It wasn't really so bad, and the rest of the squad are apparently okay. So I think really the actual terms of the isolation, I think it's more worrying for people of the frailty or the elderly. If they get it, then it would be a worry. Personally, my nan is in her 80s. She's got diabetes. She's got lung and chest problems. So if she was to get it, potentially it could wipe her out, and I would be worried. But most people under the age of sort of 70 are surviving it and just feeling a bit grotty for a few weeks or a few days.
Yeah, it is those with the underlying issues in it. I think it's affecting more than anyone. So yeah, it is a worry for anyone with them underlying issues. If you've got any of them, all we can say is just stay indoors. It's only the world. Don't worry about it. Just stay indoors. There's plenty of telly. Get Netflix, Amazon or something. You're all right. You're good.
If you haven't watched it already, a series to watch I recommend is Power. I've just finished the end of Power.
Oh, I got bored of it.
Oh no, it's fantastic.
I got bored. I think it was on season 3, and I started getting bored. It's like, oh god, is he not dead yet? But I won't say no more.
I'm not to ruin it, but
I'll say no more. I'll say no more. I'm terrible, mate.
Keep watching it because it does proper end, and it does proper end as well. Yeah. So it's really good. Yeah, well worth a watch.
Well, I'm watching Line of Duty at the minute on Netflix.
Oh,
that's well worth
that's
a
better.
watch.
That's better.
Another
that
great classic, guys.
Yeah.
Another great classic.
I just spoke to Lee Judges actually, and he said that Netflix has saved him, and he's going to start Luther, which is very old. I can't believe he's not watched it before because that is class, Luther. If no one's watched Luther, go and watch it. Brilliant.
And Idris is the Gooner.
Which is why we should be watching. Idris Elba, top actor.
So listen, before the official announcement was coming out, some of the contacts that we all got behind the scenes, we had heard that there would be that there was a player and a coach, and that the under-23 team was quite well affected. And we had heard lots of different bits and pieces, and we're just trying to find out who the actual names were. And listen, those people may not want their names to be released because of their family and the implications that might be put upon their family. But I do believe that there's 2 or 3 under-23 players that have been affected. There's possibly not necessarily starting 11, but a first team member along the line. But London Colney has been closed for a deep clean, and Hale End, which is not too far away from where I am, has been closed for a complete deep clean. The under 23 squad, Dan, seemed to have taken quite a big hit. Thoughts on that?
I didn't realise Mesut Ozil was in the under-23s. He's bound to have got it, isn't he? No, I'm joking. It seems that way. The rumours, listen, they're all rumours, aren't they, at the moment? We know that Mikel Arteta had got it. To be fair, Ferg, you called it quite early that something had happened. Somebody you'd spoke to, your ITK, had told us that you thought something had happened. And to be fair, he's normally right, and he's quite a reliable ITK. And then it had come to kind of an hour or two later that something had gone on, and it was actually Arteta. For London Colney to be shut and all that, I mean, we were saying just before we went live about the last time something had happened like this. It really wasn't to this degree. So is it something that we don't know? I'm a little bit suspicious about it, if I'm honest, because why is it like this? What has happened? So for football to be canned like this, something must have happened. And I can understand if they're trying to isolate the elderly and the frail, because they're apparently the people that are at higher risk. But shutting schools doesn't seem to be isolating the elderly, does it? So very strange. Maybe there's something we don't know about.
The high risk as being kids, shutting schools doesn't affect that. Going out and buying shed loads of shit roll, it's just pathetic. And anybody who's going out there buying loads and loads of toilet roll, check yourselves out. You are just absolute. I don't swear on here, but
it's disgraceful.
You are absolutely.
Well, you did say shit roll, so you might as well carry on.
It doesn't matter. I'm just so annoyed because you know what? I don't need stuff. I've got enough my bits and pieces inside. If I haven't got anything, I'll make do with something else. We've all got enough in our freezer and stuff to last for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, even 2 or 3 or 4 months. But these people who are buying and hoarding stuff, thinking that they're doing best for their family, they think about their nan, their granddad, or whatever, who can't get up to the shops and buy their little bits every week, and they wander up to the local Sainsbury's and they can't buy a toilet roll, or they can't buy some pasta or some whatever. You know, I met with friends today briefly, and we talked about this scenario, and we talked about it and said it's the closest that this country has ever been at to a war footing than we've ever been. Us people, okay, we're all different generations, but I've never experience anything like this, and the closest thing that I can equate it to is what people would have been like in the Blitz and stuff like that. And 2 old days, because the area I live in is full of old like East Enders that have moved out, and then it's Essex people and so on. But there was 2 old dears talking, and they're looking at the shelves, and it was all empty, and they turned around to each other and gone, "Oh, they don't even know what it was like in the war," you know. And just check yourselves out, people. Check yourselves out.
Yeah, that's why I called it on the last podcast the toilet paper pandemic. You know, it's just one of them things. It's just people just being stupid over toilet paper. At the end of the day, it's a strain of a flu virus, not the shits virus. You know, you're not gonna hang your ass out on the toilet all day. So just have a word with yourself, take a step back, and I agree, Arnie. That is a good comment. That is a very, very good comment, and I've said it about myself.
That's brilliant.
Listen, when you were talking and you done the podcast in my absence on Tuesday night, he was ahead of the Man City game. We
went well.
We didn't. That went well.
We didn't lose.
We didn't drop 3 points, which is a good thing. We didn't drop 3 points. But what did you think of the way that was handled by both sides? Did you think Man City and Arsenal handled it well in the sense of did they explain to us as fans of why they were cancelling stuff, Mike?
I think it was. I think with everything that's going on, there's a lot of it in the news now. It's not just a new thing. So things were getting cancelled here and there. But I think with the with Arteta getting the virus, I think that sort of made the minds up more quickly than it would have done. I think probably it would have postponed maybe 12 hours before, if that.
Do you think they should have told us then that Arteta had it, rather than waiting until after that and then waiting till the announcement?
I think it depends on it, because it's like you said. It's like what you said before. It's a case of, do we tell people? Are we allowed to tell people? Does he want us to tell people? So with him actually saying that he's got it, because I think he'd said it on Twitter as well, saying he's got the virus, is self-isolating. It's probably the best thing for the club that he actually did that. I think it would have been a lot harder to maybe cancel it and do something else without him without him saying so. Without him saying so as I did.
Dan, do you think that Arsenal handled Arteta's news and just generally the news about the club correctly in the sense of the timing? I asked that for the reason that the Premier League had just released a statement, which I put up on Guns and Yellow Ribbons and also an Arsenal fans forum, saying that all games will go ahead at the weekend, and everyone was planning to go to Brighton, and most of them should have been suffering a hangover today, and hopefully 3 points in the bag. And then as soon as that statement comes out, within 5-10 minutes, Arteta releases a statement. Oops, hang on, I've got coronavirus. Some of the other team members are self-isolating. All the team is. Should we have not done that 12 hours beforehand?
Yeah, it didn't look good, did it? And I think the fans got very frustrated. But when is it great time to tell the news? Personally, it's always going to be disappointing. I think we were the first of many games to be cancelled against Man City. The very bizarre thing for me was the fact that the reason that we were stopping it is because of potential links from Arsenal Olympiacos. But then the following night, lo and behold, Wolves play Olympiacos. So very, very odd. I didn't understand that one.
It was behind closed doors, that one, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I don't know why it was still on.
I agree.
Do you know what I mean?
It shouldn't have been on.
It's very bizarre. Why didn't we play behind closed doors? Very odd. So yeah, didn't quite understand that one at all. But the timing was never great. I was looking forward to Brighton. I really was. I was looking forward to it yesterday. I was going with me old man, and we were supposed to be staying over. But luckily, hopefully, the ticket will be rearranged and we can plan that later on. And then the hotel been good and let us kind of see it out until the next time that we do go up there. So that's really good. But listen, the whole thing is a bit frustrating at the moment. And it's not just football that's being affected. Let's remember, guys, there's a lot of other sporting events that have been cancelled. Formula One, cricket, rugby, you name it. Everything seems to be replayed on Sky Sports at the moment. Holidays, everyone. My friends are getting married in Vegas in 3 weeks. Doesn't look like they're going to get married in Vegas now. So yeah, it's not just people's holidays; it's people's weddings and people's lifestyles being affected by it. So it must be serious for that to happen. It must be a serious case of how contagious it is, because it's quite serious.
Paul Ennis has actually got the mood of the people and a typical British sort of view.
I just read that. I saw that come up. I just read that. It's funny.
I really hope to God that Mikel shook hands with Mike Dean last week. Paul, you're a diamond. I'll tell you what, that is just typical of football, football humour.
Yeah.
So, listen, Man City game, I would have, I predicted, I put it in the comments. I didn't watch the whole show at the time. I have listened back and it was fantastic. And as I said already, Mike done a sterling job, but I would have predicted a 1-1 draw. I think it was the right time to have them. I don't know, Brighton. I was hoping, like you were talking about, you were hoping for a good day out, really, weren't you?
Yeah, and listen, I went for a 3-1 loss against Man City. I didn't think we were going to be good enough to beat them. Personally, I think that
Corona, by the way.
there we go. That's the that repels against it, doesn't it, Foster's?
Apparently.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I thought that we draw against Brighton. Actually, I went for a 1-1 draw. But I don't think that I think they need to win more than we do. Personally, Brighton kind of don't want to be dragged back into that relegation. I actually think they're a hard side, and believe it or not, I think they are the only. I think we've beaten them since they've been in the Premier League. I think that's right. We haven't beaten Brighton since they've been in the Premier League.
Really?
Yeah, haven't beaten them. We drew 1-1 last season. We drew 1-1 at their place last season with them as well. And the season before that, I'm sure that we either lost to them away or drew to them. I'm sure that we haven't beaten them. Someone said it to me. I'm sure that we've only played them 4 times so far. Or is it 5 times now? Yeah, 5 times now. So, yeah, we haven't done too well since they've come up. We haven't beaten them at all. So, yeah, I didn't fancy to take 3 points. But I wanted a good day out. We didn't beat Burnley when we went Fergan. That was a great weekend. So I was hoping for another one of them, And unfortunately, the football got in the way. 90 minutes got in the way of the drinking, I think.
Those Jaeger bombs. Wow. Listen, let's not worry about the football. What have you been doing as an alternative in between? Okay, I'm nursing this bloody cold, whatever I've got, and I'm trying to do bits and pieces and getting wiped out. But what have you done, Mike, in between? What have you done this weekend? Have you bought more shoes for Jay?
No, I haven't. As much as you'd like some. But do you know what? I ain't got nothing at all.
That's horrible, isn't it? It's so horrible.
It's just one of those things where just like, what have you done? Not a lot. I've just decorated. I've been decorating this room over the last couple of weeks. I've been doing the room that I'm in now, just getting up a computer set up in here and everything else. And after that, it's just been nothing at all. Just bored, watching stuff on Netflix and stuff.
I know you get in the summer when there's like no football and stuff, and there's no tournaments sometimes and so on.
But you can go out in the summer. That's the thing. That's the difference is with summer. The weather's nice, so you can actually do something. Like I've got children, so you can go out with the children. I can take them somewhere, but I won't even be allowed to do that. So
I said it's like the international break where you haven't got any international, so like it's no Euros or World Cup, but then the weather's crap as well, so you can't even go out and into the sunshine and have a beer. So very frustrating. Mate,
Netflix, not as if you'd be allowed to do anything anyways, because most of the places probably be shut.
Yeah, well, it's Netflix for me, to be fair. Yeah. Netflix has saved me because, there's nothing else on. Sky Sports is nah, and I haven't got BT Sport, so.
Mind you, what I have noticed some people have done is they've rang up Sky and said to them, look, listen, you've banned all football for a month, more or less. Said, I don't need it. If you don't argue with them and you do it nicely, they actually will cut your contract off without the 30 days notice. It will, if you do it the right way, you can save yourself a few quid and then put it on later again afterwards. No point in paying, what is it, 22 quid for BT and 20 quid for, so you're talking about £42 a month for something that you're not going to watch. So
BT Sports is a rip-off, let's face it. I don't care if they've got Champions League and Premier League and Europa League. £30 a month is not worth it.
Well, it's not worth when you got Michael Owen, have you, on there as a commentator?
Yeah, there is.
Did you hear him the other night? He said it's just something about Liverpool gone out of Europe, which is crazy because they're the best team in Europe. Something like that. He said it was just like, oh my god, what are you doing? You're not even in Europe anymore, you absolute fool. Yeah, but again, he's
the best team in Europe last season.
Oh, he's awful. He's just unbelievable. This bloke. Footballers use their feet a lot. Apparently, that's what he said as well. And the team who score the most goals usually wins. That was another classic.
Oh well.
Very observant pundit.
It needs to be united with that comment. Christ.
I was going to say to you guys, I said, we don't have the sports and so on. As an alternative, have you considered going down and watching your local, non-league and park football, like Dave Hurls come along and said, go and watch some of the, the kids and the unders sort of stuff. Any you got like local clubs that you can go and see, Mike?
All of mine are shut. All of mine are stopped. I like teams Colchester. So.
I think, in all fairness, I think a lot of the ones that are around here are shut as well. There's not many to go to be fair, around here. There's a couple. There's Gainsborough. Well, if I was watching non-football league, there's Gainsborough Trinity, not far away. Other than that, there's not much really to choose from. But obviously, with the football league shut down now as well, so it's a case of there's nothing going on at all.
Raoul gave a suggestion to us. He said use video games in the case of liquor.
Yeah, that is an option I have tried. He went on for a couple of hours and I got told off.
Looking at our outstanding games, then, so like if the season starts, and I think from what I'm hearing from, as we talked about before, hello Trev, how are you, mate? You could have been on here and joined us. He just.
He's a bad loser.
Yeah, we know who our friends are. From the people I'm talking to within the club, I heard that all games are going to be cancelled for a month, and that the club are already planning for the Norwich game to be the first game that we have. That we play again, and that game will be held behind closed doors. What do we think about behind closed doors football, Dan?
Oh, surely not. I'd rather it be cancelled. The fans make the game, don't they? I don't know if anyone saw PSG Dortmund the other night, but that was a joke behind closed doors. It's normally a sea of yellow, and PSG have a great fan base as well. And yeah, we didn't get to see any of that stuff because all the fans aren't allowed in. The fans make football, Fergus, they really do. And you only have to watch a game behind closed doors to realise that is the case. So I'm not a fan of it. I would rather see it cancelled. I'm with Pep Guardiola. Reschedule it.
Pep said he wanted to reschedule it because that would be so funny. Liverpool don't win the league.
or if they win the league, and there's an asterisk next to it, that'll be even funnier, I think.
They won't win the league. It'll be 1920 asterisk incomplete.
That's what I mean. How good would that
be? That
be?
would be harsh, wouldn't it? Really, that's
very harsh.
Very harsh.
It would be wonderful.
Funny.
It would be funny. But it would be harsh.
Will they protest about it for 30 years, you reckon?
Probably.
Have I stepped too far?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. It don't really matter. I'm from up north. I've got loads of them around here. I'll tell them all the time.
That's what I do.
Justice for the 1920 season. Justice for the 1920 season.
Oh no!
I won't go that far.
I keep my head down.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan. Not a fan, but it's going to happen. They deserve it this season, and I think that it will. The season will finish. It's not going to be null and void. What everyone keeps getting excited about, that is not going to happen. They will cancel the Euros, and they'll just continue it until they are done, until the season's done. So,
on Tuesday, we're expecting UEFA to announce that the Euros are going to be postponed till 2021.
Yeah, well, that's going to be done. That's done, isn't it? That's definitely done.
Yeah. Which will give us sufficient time for us to play the remainder games either behind closed doors or not, whatever the case may be. But as long as all football related activities finish by the end of July 20th, and the teams have at least 3 weeks, we can start a new league. My only thoughts were, and when I was thinking about when I was writing that statement and for this, was the likes of the FA Cup, the likes of the playoffs, and so on. And Wembley will have a full schedule throughout summer for pop concerts and stuff like that. And they know that the May bank holiday is when they have the FA Cup and the playoffs and et cetera, et cetera. So it will be really interesting to see how they manage more the other leagues in the Premier League. The Premier League can tick along and do what it needs to do, but it's more about finishing the other leagues off, having the playoff finals, and see who gets promoted into the Premier League, and then also finishing off the FA Cup. Is it a case that we write off the FA Cup completely? Would that be a sensible thing to do, Michael?
No,
I nearly sounded like Mum calling you Michael there for a second.
I know. I was like, what? Michael? But yeah,
Michael?
I don't know. I'm a bit I'm a bit fingered with it. I don't know if they're going to do the play games behind closed doors. Then I think they need to knock off that 3:00 ban from TV. They need to show it on the TV if they're going to do that. Otherwise, it's just pointless doing that. You might as well just cancel the league. Is it over 75%? If played, they can sort of. I can't remember what it is now. Where you just if the Premier League's been played over 75%, it'll work in. It'll just go as it is. It'll just stay as it is.
Liverpool need two more victories to go their way, and they've won the league. And mathematically, once they won the league, it doesn't matter. Then it's down to mathematically who will get relegated, and then you have to look at the championship, who gets promoted, and so on. Is it a case of that you come along and go, okay, nobody gets relegated, nobody gets promoted this season? But Leeds have spent 16 years.
Well, you can't. You can't give someone the championship and then say to the other side, "Oh no, it's fine. You're not. No one's getting relegated. No one's getting promoted." You can't do that. It's one or the other. Either you just cancel the league, finish it where it is, and just say, "Look, we'll carry on again next season and just start again and go from there," or you've got to have that relegation and promotion. You can't give someone a championship or even the Championship League, not Championship League, the Championship itself, the league. You can't just say, for instance, someone like Leeds or West Brom, I think are up there. You can't turn around to them and say, no, you're not getting promoted. It's just stupid. But yeah, if, as you were saying about the FA Cup, like Richard just said there's only 7 games to play. It could technically be finished, but is it worth it? I don't know. It's one of them things. Something's to give.
If you to forego a competition to allow for room for games and so on, the FA Cup, unfortunately, is the one I would let go so that you can allow.
This is it. Something's going to have to give.
Yeah, like the Euros are going to have to give, obviously. Yeah. And I think, there is a way it can all work. It just depends. It really just depends. And, we're living in a very ever-changing world. What are we hearing? I'm hearing about Aubameyang as well. Barcelona seem to have him as very much their target. And talk of the club willing to listen to offers. I think we're willing to listen to offers for any player who's in the final year of their contract, and if they're not going to sign a new contract. Dan, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. It's a Aubameyang thing. I think I'd be tempted to try and keep him now and just let him go on a free, personally. But I don't think they'll do that. I think they will listen to offers now. There were rumours that they've offered him a contract, and he's obviously not agreed to a contract with us. So now, all of a sudden, I didn't hear about these rumours, but I've just heard them just now that Barcelona are interested. I think they've been interested for a while. If you're willing to listen to offers, then but potentially he could be off. I think he'd be a good signing for anybody. I think he's an elite striker. He's got one more move in him if he wants to have a move, and if he wants to play Champions League football, which I think he deserves, then who better to play for than Barcelona? So yeah, I reckon he shall probably be off if those are the rumours.
Okay, and I suppose on the close, because otherwise we'll just start rambling on and on and on for ages about different things. Who's going to benefit most from this 3-week cessation of football if football starts on the 4th of April as planned? You've got Tottenham, who were hanging on for dear life, and they should be playing Man United this weekend, I believe, and West Ham the following weekend. They've got no Son, they've got no Kane. We're without a couple of players. It's different teams without players who are all going to have extra time. So in effect, the 4th of April, you could actually have 20 squads all fully fit. Who's going to benefit the best from it? Dan?
Tottenham, because Kane and Son were always going to be fit, in my opinion, for the North London derby on the 26th of April. But now they're definitely going to be fit when it does restart, because they're going to be able to get themselves right back into the frame of it. So Spurs are struggling at the moment because of their lack of strikers, and I think they will be the ones that benefit the most. I can't see anybody else in a position where they're down to bare bones, but Tottenham certainly are. So yeah, unfortunately, the unwashed up the road, they're the ones that are going to benefit.
Mike, anybody different?
I don't know. I think everyone could benefit from it.
Could Man City do better from it and challenge Liverpool? Liverpool being on a wobbly footing at the minute. You know,
they're going to win them 2 games. It don't matter. They would have won them anyway. I think that was a given. I think everyone is going to benefit me. You know, the thing is, everyone's now going to have a really good rest. You know, the players are having a good rest. It's a case of now is when do they all go back to training, or if they go back to training. You know, there was Trev here saying the season won't restart on the 4th. He thinks it's all over. He obviously thinks it's going to be all over. And then there's another comment here from Dave Atkinson. You know, it's what if another player gets it when the football restarts? Do you cancel it all over again? It's
great shout.
You just don't know, and I actually agree with that. You just don't know. I just think it's a case of I'm dropping stuff now. I just think it's a case of it's a waiting game. I just don't think we're going to hear anything up until at least the 1st of April, if anything changes.
We'll never know. We'll never know. I'm running out of breath.
I'd like to say, you know, who would definitely benefit, and I do agree with Dan Tottenham. Yeah, they'd benefit out of most, but I just don't feel it's. I mean, like what Dave said there is in between now and then, if any more people catch it within the Premier League, any player or manager or any part of the club, for instance, I think it's a case. It's one of them things.
I think if other people catch it going forward, it will be drips, and as it will be within society, be drip fed and so on right through to at various points. I think it's the sudden impact of this happening now and the impact of the travel restrictions and just trying to manage the virus is caused what this has, and the bit of a shock that the likes of Arteta, Hudson-Odoi and a few others that have got it. But I think once we get back to normal, then I think it should be okay. People will take the adequate precautions and so on. These people are quite cosseted in a lot of ways of what they do, so they're kept away from us mere mortals in a lot of cases. It's just
what do we think is going to happen then? Because I think it will carry on. It will just the Euros will be cancelled and we'll carry on the season until it ends. That's my opinion. Do we all think that?
That's what I think.
No. I don't think it will. I'm getting to the point now where I think it'll cancel. I honestly do. They're saying, I mean, there's the talk of this virus hitting its peak in at least till May, June time. So I just think it'll just get cancelled.
And then what will happen though, Scunny? What they'll just say, okay, Liverpool are champions, or they'll just null the void.
That's something I can't guess. Right. I don't know. I ain't got a clue what they do there. Obviously, this sort of thing's never happened in my lifetime. I'm sure it happened in anyone else's, even people in the chat. No one's got a guess on that one. I wouldn't even.
And if mathematically they'd won the league, we'd have to give them the trophy and guard of honor or whatever you had to do or whatever. I cannot see why mathematically they can still lose the league. And on their recent form, 100% agree with you, Mike, in the sense that, they're going to win the league if given the opportunity to. But while mathematically they can still blow it, we cannot award them the league regardless. You can do averages, but then you have to come along and say, well, we played how many Cat A games have we played compared to their Cat C games and all that sort of stuff. So there's no way you can work this out. The season's written off null and void. I think that will be last resort because financially and brand, what that will do to the Premier League brand, it will damage it. Not irreparably, but it will damage it so badly.
You got to look at. There's quite a lot of, there's quite a lot to go with it. Advertising and everything else that goes with it. So there's a lot of money there it's going to affect everything and everyone within the Premier League and even in the Football League. It's not just
Melina in the comments come along and said she just started watching. And she said, Ferguson sounded a bit rough. Are you okay, mate? I feel like she can cancel the rest of the season. Melina, yeah, just a tad rough. I'm on the antidote, though. It's all right. Listen, on that note, I think we should call it a day because my voice is starting to go. We will try and do a couple of things over this period, which we're going to plan anyway. We're going to do Trevor's 1 to 11. And if you haven't seen before, go through either on SoundCloud and Spotify. You can hear the audio versions, some of the video ones earlier this year of 1 to 11s, where we go through their all-time 1 to 11 footballers. And Trev should be really interesting because Trev's been around since Jesus, before Jesus. Before Jesus. So we'll do Trevor's, and then we'll probably chat to some of the other members of the squad of panel members, and there's probably about 15 of us all in all who come on various times and do our 1 to 11s. Richard, will get you back on to do yours. Maybe we've done Lee's in the past. We'll get a few others on there. So, lads, it's a Sunday evening. I can't be asked to cook. I'm going to order a pizza. It's been a pleasure.
Cheers, boys.
See you later, guys. Thanks very much.
Only one last thing to say. Up the arse.
Up the arse.
COVID-19 Spurs.